NASA has recorded the elusive sound of lightning on Mars for the first time. The Perseverance rover's microphone captured 55 instances of electrical activity, but it's not what you might be expecting. Researchers say the electricity generated from dust storms on the planet may be causing the light.
Imagine standing on the surface of Mars with no suit, no shelter, and no protection. Within seconds, the environment begins to take over. The pressure is almost non-existent, meaning your lungs cannot function the way they do on Earth. The air is not just thin, it is practically absent. At the same time, the temperature, averaging around -60 degrees Celsius, starts pulling heat from your body immediately. Within about 15 seconds, you would lose consciousness, and within a minute, survival would no longer be possible. And yet, this is the planet humanity is actively planning to reach. A place where the ground contains chemicals harmful to human biology. Where many missions have failed before even arriving, and where scientists believe the human body may not fully recover after completing a full mission. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun and one of Earth's closest neighbors in space. It sits at an average distance of about 225 million kilometers, sometimes coming much closer and sometimes moving much farther away. For more than 60 years, space agencies have sent missions to study it, including orbiters, landers, and rovers. These machines have transformed Mars from a distant red dot into a world we can analyze in detail. However, no human has ever been there. Today, Mars is a planet explored entirely by robots, and that raises an important question. Should humans go there at all? When we look at Mars as a real environment instead of a distant dream, the challenges become clear. The atmosphere is extremely thin, with less than 1% of Earth's pressure, and it is made up of about 95% carbon dioxide. Oxygen, which humans need to survive, exists in only tiny amounts. This makes breathing impossible without advanced life support systems. The low pressure also affects the human body directly, causing fluids to expand and disrupting normal biological functions almost instantly. Temperature adds another level of difficulty. Mars experiences extreme swings because it lacks a thick atmosphere to hold heat. While some areas may briefly warm up, temperatures can drop as low as -140 degrees Celsius. The average remains far below freezing, making survival without protection impossible. Even if humans bring technology to handle air and temperature, the surface itself presents problems. The soil contains perchlorates, which are harmful chemicals that interfere with human health. This means growing food on Mars would require complex processing to remove these substances. Dust is another major challenge. Martian dust is incredibly fine and electrically charged, allowing it to stick to surfaces and enter equipment. Over time, it can damage machinery and reduce efficiency. On top of that, Mars experiences powerful dust storms that can sometimes cover the entire planet. These storms can block sunlight for weeks, drastically reducing solar power, which is critical for any future human mission. Above all of this lies an even greater problem: radiation. Mars no longer has a strong magnetic field, which means it cannot protect itself from harmful solar radiation. As a result, the surface is constantly exposed. Astronauts on Mars would experience radiation levels far higher than on Earth, and over a long mission, This exposure could lead to serious health effects, including damage at the cellular level and changes to the body's systems. Even protective shielding has limits, as it can sometimes create additional radiation when struck by high-energy particles. Reaching Mars is also far from simple. Historically, many missions to Mars have failed due to technical issues or environmental challenges. This high failure rate highlights how difficult it is to successfully travel to and operate on another planet. When humans are involved, the risks become even more significant. The journey itself creates additional challenges. Traveling to Mars takes 6 to 9 months in microgravity, during which the human body weakens. Bone density decreases, muscles shrink, and the heart adapts to the reduced workload. By the time astronauts arrive, they are already physically affected. Mars has gravity, but it is only about 38% of Earth's, which is not enough to fully prevent further weakening. After spending extended time there, and then returning to Earth, astronauts could face serious difficulties readjusting. There is also the psychological aspect. A Mars mission would involve long periods of isolation and delayed communication with Earth. Messages can take several minutes to travel each way, making real-time conversation impossible. This creates a sense of distance and separation that goes beyond physical space. Despite all these challenges, Mars remains scientifically fascinating. Evidence suggests that it was once a very different world, with rivers, lakes, and possibly oceans. Organic molecules have been found in ancient rocks, raising questions about whether life could have existed there in the past. However, these discoveries also show that Mars is not a simple destination. It is a complex and harsh environment that requires careful study. In the end, Mars represents both human ambition and the limits of our current capabilities. It is not a place where humans can easily live or survive without constant support from technology. For now, the most practical approach may be to continue exploring Mars with robotic missions, learning as much as possible before considering human travel. From Earth, Mars appears as a small red point in the night sky. It is distant, mysterious, and inspiring. And perhaps, at least for now, that distance is exactly where it belongs. If this made you see the solar system differently, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, because there are many more stories like this waiting to be explored.